Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is David with the Lunchtime Lunacy, and today I am joined by Matt Staffiero, who's filling in for Alex. Alex had something come up, so Matt graciously said he would step in and help out today. So hopefully, and maybe Matt will fill in for me on Friday, but I doubt it. Matt's gonna be busy moving.
Yeah, big
So
move. Thornton to Parker. Thornton
yeah,
to Parker. That's all I gotta say.
yeah,
Huge
you
move.
got a big one going on. So, first thing, hey, I want to let everybody know that our MSR has tons of different social media outlets. We got Facebook, which where most of you are watching Rocky Mountain. We're on Twitter at Rocky Mountain SR. We're on Instagram at Rocky Mountain SR. We have our own YouTube channel at Rocky Mountain Sports Report, Denver, Colorado. So make sure you follow us on those other social media outlets and spread the word. We are on a push to 1,000. On Friday, when Alex and I were last on the show, we were at 906. Through Matt's diligent efforts and inviting people like crazy, we are now 30 members away from 1,000. We're sitting at 970 right now. So,
Yeah.
hey, everybody, help us out. Let's make the push. If you like what we're doing here, invite your friends. Let them know. Hey, it's a pretty good thing we got going on here. So,
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for a quick push though. I mean, that growth of 50 plus members has come in less than 24 hours. So just, keep up the diligent work, inviting your friends and family. Like Dave said, just if you appreciate what we're doing and you love our topics, feel free to invite as many people as you can.
yeah, definitely. And during these shows, please feel free to send in your comments. You can comment right on the Facebook feed. There is a thing right there at the top of the feed where it says streamyard.com/Facebook. If you click on that, then it's going to allow your name to come across when you send in a comment or a question, and then that way we'll know who we're talking to or responding to. So go ahead and click on that, and you only have to do it once, and after that, it should be good forever. So we want to thank our sponsor, Spoke Fire, which is barbecue superstore in Loveland, Colorado. We got a big thing coming up in probably about 4.5 weeks or so, four or
Yep.
5 weeks. July 24th, Rocky Mountain Sports Report is going to be doing a live remote broadcast from the Stoked Fire Barbecue Superstore. So go ahead and come up there, check us out. We're going to have fun. We'll have some free food samples. We're trying to set up some other things, maybe a cornhole tournament, things like that. And just come up there and visit with us, get to know the people of our MSR. And it would be nice for us to, meet you guys and, get to know you guys as well. So here we got a comment here. Look at that beard looking good. This beard is 168 days in the making. I made a vow after the season ended that I will not shave this thing. And it's just the goatee. It's not the whole face. Just the goatee. I will not shave it. I will not trim it. The only thing my wife said, I have to trim around the mouth. So, but it's 168 days in the making now. I said I will not do anything with it until the Broncos make the playoffs. So we got to make a push for that.
We might have to wait one more season.
Yeah, who knows what I'll be looking like? So, but
ZZ
we'll
Top,
see. But
over
hey,
here.
it's cool. My granddaughter loves it. My wife likes it. So I'm actually becoming sort of liking it too. So
Hey, there you go. That's all that matters, right?
yeah. So all right. Anybody that's interested in advertising, uh, anybody that's interested in advertising with RMSR, get with this dude over here, Matt Staffiero. He will get you set up and go over the different plans that we have for that. And then we talked about the remote event, and then like I said, the 25th this June, this Friday, June 25th. If anybody is interested in co-hosting, go ahead and reach out to myself so you can co-host with Alex on Friday because I will be out of town that day. So, and then July 5th through the 9th, Alex will be out of town. He'll be in Oregon. So we'll need somebody to fill in that week as well. So, Alrighty, let's get on with the show, Matt.
Let's hop right into it.
First off, let's talk about a little bit of a little bit of NBA basketball. So the Atlanta Hawks finished off the 76ers to advance to Game 7. 76ers had high expectations this season. What do you see for them this offseason, Matt?
I mean, as they should have been, those expectations should have been high. I mean, when you got a team that has Joel Embiid, you got Ben Simmons, that's like a defensive super team right there. I'm shocked the Hawks were able to, uproot them. Ben Simmons, though, as great as of a defensive player is, man, he throws up a brick shot. He just can't seem to be consistent. So similar to what we see here in, Denver with MPJ, it's kind of vice versa. MPJ being great on the offensive side, terrible at defense. Ben Simmons is the same, just flip it around. The kid's got to learn how to, get a solid jump shot going. Sorry about that, a little distraction.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid's a superstar. I mean, he was battling, Nikola Jokic all year for MVP. Dude's just, I mean, he's got an all-around game. They got to bring in somebody that's going to help them create points, though. I mean, consistently. Like I just had mentioned, Ben Simmons is great, at the point being a defensive player, but just can't put it together offensively. There was some rumors saying that he may want to trade this offseason, and then he came out this morning and said those are all false. So we'll kind of have to keep an eye on and see how that goes the rest of the offseason for Philly.
Yeah, we definitely will. We'll have to see how things go with them. So, and then Milwaukee beat the Brooklyn Nets to knock them out. So now Milwaukee is in the Eastern Conference Final. I mean, Brooklyn built that super team, and injuries really got them at the end with Harden and Irving, out. And I mean, I tip my hat to KD. KD really, did what he could to carry that team, but I think Milwaukee was just a little too much for him.
Yeah, I mean, he did put the team on his back, and I mean, with the injuries they had, and like you just mentioned, those inconsistencies. He tried his best. I mean, unfortunately, fell short. That's another one that was a shocker. No one thought Milwaukee was gonna outshine Brooklyn.
Right.
So, I mean,
Yeah,
they got Giannis, though. I mean, the Greek freak, he's cut from a different cloth. I mean, he's in the league of his own. So,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, he definitely is. So, and then Phoenix, they took game one of their series against the Clippers. Clippers, of course, without Kawhi. Phoenix without Chris Paul. So, sort of a little bit of a wash there. I think it hurts Clippers more with Kawhi being out than it does the Suns with Chris Paul being out. So, the biggest thing they miss with Chris Paul is that leadership on the court. But here's what I will find interesting. If Phoenix goes on and goes to the Western Conference Finals, that means none of these super teams are going to advance to the finals, which in my opinion is great because I'm tired of these teams building these super teams. I like these teams that are doing it the way you're supposed to do it. Look how Utah built their team, through the draft and through trades. They're not just signing these crazy free agents, and have LeBron recruiting every player that he can to come play with him. Milwaukee's done it through the draft. Atlanta's done it
through the draft.
Phoenix, doing it the same way. And so I like it, and I hope that this trend continues, and teams can build teams through the draft that will really battle these super teams, and maybe we move away from the super team thing.
Not even only super team. The cool thing about what we're seeing in these finals is 3 small market teams have kind of made a significant push to be relevant. I mean, Atlanta would probably be the largest market outside of the Clippers, and I mean, and their market for basketball hasn't really been significant for the last few years. I mean, Milwaukee, that's Wisconsin, that's a small market,
right?
And the same thing, you move over to Arizona, another really small market.
Yep.
So it's really awesome to see these small market teams who just highlighting what you just said.
The NBA. The NBA is cringing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They wanted a Brooklyn LA matchup, to get that New York City market and to get the Los Angeles market. So that's what I think they really wanted was the Clippers and the Nets maybe. So
But I mean, who
Um,
doesn't love a good underdog story though? And that's hopefully what we're going to see.
that is definitely right. So last week we touched on it. There's been 6, head coaches already dismissed from their jobs. Portland has come out with a list of finalists, and Denver's own Chauncey Billups is on there as a list or as a candidate. And here's the shocker, and I'm glad to hear this, is Becky Harmon. So if she gets this position, she could be the first female head coach in the NBA history.
Yeah, I think I was reading a statistic that says she might be the first finalist ever, woman finalist for a head coaching position. So I mean, she's already broken one barrier. It would be interesting to see if she can break another. I mean, she could be the trailblazer that really, sets the tone for seeing a woman's presence in the NBA. So it would be great. I mean, we see the WNBA be dominated by a male coaching presence. So it would be nice to see the tables finally flipped.
Yeah, it definitely would. And just to prove, I mean, that you don't have to be a male to coach in the NBA, or any sport in general. I would like to see more of a female presence in sports, and
Yeah,
because
definitely. I mean, we see it. I mean, we've kind of seen some of those barriers be broken with like officiating and some coaching positions in the NFL. So it's nice to see that starting to translate over to other professional sports.
yeah, it definitely is. And then I got one final question for you, Matt,
I've seen this on the agenda.
on the if you were building a team, would you rather build your team around Trey Young or Devin Booker?
I don't like this question. Uh, if it was for me, I mean, I would probably go with Trey Young. I mean, the dude is just lights out. I mean, he's young. He's shown that he's at the elite level. He's dominant in all aspects of the game. I mean, it's hard to find a flaw in his game. I mean, some people refer him to it, as a version of Steph Curry with how efficient he can be with scoring from outside the perimeter. I mean, the dude is just a dominant force. I mean, plus, and he's got the size. I mean, I would just have to go with Trey Young.
Yeah, I think I would do one for youth, and I've heard many people say he may be the next Steph Curry.
Yeah.
So and he's sort of taken these playoffs by surprise. I mean, he had a good regular season, but he's just really stepped it up this postseason, especially in this series against the Sixers, where he really just took the whole game under control and won it. So
Yeah, and I mean, and you have to appreciate. I mean, he brings a level of, for lack of a better term, cockiness to his game. But I mean, it's not that over exaggerant, arrogant type. It's the cockiness because he knows he believes in his abilities and he's putting his money where his mouth is. So I appreciate that.
right, and we're going to move on to hockey here in a minute, but I want to throw something in there really quick. I forgot to put it on the agenda, but the Colorado Rapids. This team hasn't been good in a while, and they're playing some really good soccer. The new MLS Power Rankings came out, and Colorado's ranked number 2.
There you
So
go.
yeah, so hey, I mean, everybody head out to Dick's Sporting Goods Park and check them out. I'm sure
Absolutely.
the tickets are probably fairly easy to come by. So pretty soon, though, they keep going like this, it's going to be hard to get tickets there. So
Yeah,
um,
and I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh, soccer." I mean, soccer is a whole different game when you're seeing it up live and in person. So, I mean, the environment that some of these, teams like the Rapids can provide. I've been to a few Rapids games myself, and I mean, the energy that some of those fans can bring, it changes your aspect on the game. So definitely check it out in person instead of just watching it on TV. It's a
yeah, I
whole different
think it
feel.
would be a whole different thing in person than it would be, sitting and watch. I mean, I watch Premier League on TV, so and you just sort of a little bit feed off the crowds there of it, and I've heard that at the Rapids games the fans get pretty rowdy there too. So
Oh,
it could be
definitely.
fun. So and then one more thing before we move on to hockey. Across the bottom we have scrolling all of our shows. So you guys check out our other shows, support them. We have some good content coming out on different shows. Fourth and 99, which Matt and I do, and we got J Rock that's going to be with us. It used to be a Broncos podcast. It is now going to be NFL coverage, and I believe we are returning to the air July 7th. Correct, Matt?
Yep.
July
First,
7th. That'll
yep,
be the first
Wednesday of July.
Wednesday, July. So, and that will be at 6:30 p.m. So come check us out. We're going to focus more on the NFL as a whole. We'll still have our Broncos stuff when we have on Sundays when the season starts. We'll have our pregame, our halftime, and our postgame shows as well.
Yeah,
And then when the regular season, a good portion of 4th and 99 will cover the Broncos, but we'll still also cover
a
NFL
couple of the
teams. So
headlines.
we're also looking for people who want to jump in and help us. If you're an expert on a certain team, we could definitely use you. You can pop in and out of the show. You don't have to commit to the whole hour. You can come in and do a 5-10 minute segment on a certain team or whatever. So reach out to Matt or myself if you're interested in doing that. So, all right, hockey, Matt. Tampa Bay and New York are tied at 2-2, and I'm surprised about this. I thought Tampa Bay was going to take care of the Islanders fairly easily, but the Islanders are playing some decent hockey.
I mean, they got that New York bloodline running through them. That New York crowd's got them pumped. I mean, that's a market of a market right there. I mean, with that crowd behind them, I mean, it's got to be carrying their momentum right now. I mean, I was on the same page as you. I mean, some people were predicting, a 3-1 series victory win. I'm sorry, a 4-1 victory. Some thought it was going to be a sweep, but I mean, hey, it's 2-2. New York's rallying behind their team. Let's see if they can, carry it through.
Yeah, huge game tonight in Tampa.
Yeah.
I think if New York can steal this one, they might be able to, sneak past Tampa Bay and get into the finals. So that'd be nice to see the Islanders in there, not Tampa Bay again.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, I'm already hyping the team that we're going to talk about here in a few minutes. I'm all about bringing that cup back to Canada. So I mean, I'm hoping the Canadians pull something off here.
Yeah, I'm not all about bringing the cup back to Canada. I think it belongs here in the United States.
Hey, it's
So,
been since what, the early '90s, and I mean,
hey,
hey, the
that's all
Avs got
right.
knocked out.
I mean,
Yeah,
but I don't want Vegas in the finals either.
exactly. I don't want
You know
Vegas
what?
to win it.
I
If
think New York Montreal would be an awesome matchup.
if New York squeaks in and they can get past Tampa Bay, I may be flipping around and wanting to keep it home, but I just don't have, even though that crowd is rallying behind them, I just don't see it happening. I think
Right.
Tampa Bay is going to probably, I mean, we may see them win, the next two games and just close out the series. I mean, maybe they split it and then they bring it back because it goes back to Tampa, right? If it gets to a game 7.
Yeah, Tampa will get game 7.
Yeah,
So.
I just don't think New York's gonna, especially if it makes it to 7. I don't think they're gonna be able to overtake Tampa on their home ice. And I don't know, there's just something about the Tampa Bay Lightning I don't really care for. So if it ends up being Tampa and Montreal, I'm going Montreal all the way. I mean, they've had like those Canadian teams had like the weirdest, season. They've been like locked in Canada for how long now?
Yeah,
And
that
then
is
it
true. So
barely opened up. So hey, let
yeah,
them have a little
and I
freedom to
think
the cup
if it was Montreal and Tampa Bay, I may have to go that route as well. So Vegas, really quickly before we move on. Vegas, their coach decided to pull Fleury, and this happened after some Game 3 miscues at the end of the game where, Fleury just misjudged a shot and, cost him the game. And you know what happened last time Lennar was put into the game?
It was like what, 7-1, something like that.
The Avalanche blistered them, but that was the end of the Avalanche season after that. So, but the gamble paid off this time, and Vegas evened that series up. I think if Montreal goes up, 3-1, then this thing's over. But two hot goalies on both teams. I mean, Fleury, yeah, everybody has a bad game, and
I mean, but the dude's got to be exhausted. I mean, they've only given him 2 breaks since they've been in the playoffs,
right,
2 or 3 breaks.
Right, yeah, he had played before that 15 to 16 games, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, physically,
So,
I mean, your body at that point has to be,
right.
sore.
And mentally,
Yeah.
it's tough being a goalie and sitting in there and just watching these shots be fired at you. I mean, and it mentally just starts to get to you as well. So I'm with you. I'm pulling for the Canadians, and I'm pulling for the Islanders. And if the Islanders don't make it, then I'm going for the Canadians if they make it. If it's Tampa Bay and Vegas, then
Tampa Bay.
If it's Tampa and Vegas, then I may just go watch a marble tournament or something somewhere.
I think there's some badminton tournaments coming up shortly. Maybe some bowling.
Yeah. So
But yeah, you can't see Tampa would get 2 cups in a row, man. Their head would get too big.
right, right. I agree. So Major League Baseball, the Rockies, they were on a 5-game winning streak, and it came to an abrupt ending over the weekend. They lost Saturday 6-5, and then Sunday they lost 7-6 to the Brewers. It's
Yeah,
not like the Brewers are a horrible team, but the Rockies still finished 5-2 on the homestand, so that's pretty impressive.
that may be one of their best stretches of the
Well, and
season so far,
especially
right?
the teams you played. You played the Padres and you
Dodgers.
played the Brewers. So both of them are good baseball teams. So, but as we've seen, the Rockies can play at home.
Yeah,
They can't play on the road.
I can't remember what the record on the road is.
Five
It's
and
like what, five
27 on
wins
the
and
road.
something.
5-27 on the road. It's disheartening.
Yeah,
That
I mean, someone else, one of our followers, John Burton, posted a pretty good stat. Diamondbacks have lost like what 27, I think a record 27 away games,
yeah, they've lost a lot of road games
but they still don't have
consecutively.
the worst record in the NL
Yeah,
West.
and the Rockies still have it.
Yeah,
Um,
but
Austin
speaking of the
Gomber.
game though, yesterday, I mean, it was an exciting sixth inning. I think we've seen 4 home runs in the sixth inning yesterday.
Yeah, unfortunately, I missed it. I was packaging seasonings all day yesterday,
Oh
so
yeah, I caught
so
the highlights way after the game was over.
so I don't even think I turned my TV on at all last night or yesterday.
I don't
I
think we
think
did
my
either.
family was my son and daughter were over during the morning part. My granddaughter was here, and then we just sort of after they left, I started on the seasonings, and we took a break and went and got dinner, and then came back and finished up packaging seasonings, and didn't even turn the TV on at all. It was sort of nice.
You had a busy day though, busy, busy, busy.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Austin Gomber, who's probably the bright spot of the Arenado trade for the Rockies. He's been having a good season, and he's gone out. He's now on the 10-day IL. He left the game on Saturday with, I believe, his forearm
Yeah,
soreness.
forearm
So
tightness, I believe, is what I
yeah,
seen from across
tightness.
state.
Yeah, so I
The
don't
player.
know. They didn't say on the injury report, what the significance was and or what the actual injury was, but they did put him on the 10-day IL. So,
Yeah.
and then John Gray, he started a rehab assignment down in Albuquerque over the weekend. I don't know what the timetable is for him to come back, but John Gray's struggling. He's struggling bad this year. If you were the Rockies, would you just leave him down? If you were the Rockies, would you just leave him down there for a while and maybe let him gain some of his confidence back?
I'm sorry about that. The kids
That's all
came
right.
down to say hi real quick.
So
Every time I'm on live, they want to come say hi. Every single time.
they
I
want to
could be
be on
down here.
camera, man. They
I could
want to
be
be
down here
famous.
in this office all day working, and they don't even come by to say hi at all.
Yeah, they
It's
want to
like they
be
got
famous.
little spidey senses. But back to the question real quick on Gray. Similar to, the Trevor Story thing, I think these are two guys that we're going to have to look to unload. I mean, we're a team that's depleted of prospects. If we're hoping that while he's in Albuquerque, maybe he'll be able to rehab and kind of show some glimpses of being a somewhat relevant pitcher outside of Colorado. I mean, I would hope I would leave him down there until we know confidently that we either have a deal in place or, I mean, he's really proven that he can be consistent. I mean, but that's kind of been the knack on his entire career is inconsistency.
Yeah,
I mean, just from my Drew Lock dig of the day, he's the Drew Lock of the Rockies in reality.
you find it.
Inconsistencies.
You find a way every conversation to work Drew Lock into it and take a jab at the guy.
I do it intentionally. I
I
hope you
know
know
you
that,
do.
all in good fun. But
I
no, but
know.
here, I mean, that's even. I mean, that's even worse. Because I mean, when John Gray's on it and he's inconsistent, he looks fantastic. I mean, he's
Oh,
got
he
a great
does.
fastball,
Yeah.
but he just
But you
can't.
got to start wondering too. He's getting up there. I mean, he's been with the Rockies how long now?
I don't
You
remember
know,
off the top of my head. I'll have to look it up.
and I'm not sure either. But I mean, pretty soon, that star arm starts going. You know.
Hey, well, hey, maybe Teddy Two Gloves will come and throw a couple games for the Rockies. Hey, it
Yeah,
might work out in our favor. I mean, hey, 5-27 on the road.
yeah,
I mean, hey, we need to make some change somewhere.
yeah. Maybe Teddy B can pitch for us for the
Hey,
Rockies. So yeah, because the Broncos aren't going to need him. I mean, this is um. So um, we'll see where things go with John Gray, and yeah, we got the trade deadline that's coming up. Maybe
yeah,
possibly
seriously.
Trevor Story going. I mean, hopefully we don't start parting with any of our young talent. Like we got Rogers, we got McMahon. We got Cron. Those guys are that's your infield right there. And if Fuentes even can play in the infield as well. I think maybe him at third and you put McMahon over at short. I think you got a fairly solid infield there with a lot of young prospects. So, and I think that
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, that's the one thing that, like I just said, outside of these prospects, outside of these, once we look into our smaller farm teams, that's where the prospects really kind of just dry up. There isn't anything that's relevant. Or I think out of like the top 100 prospect list that MLB dropped out, I think we only have 2 on the top 100. And I mean, that's a lot of prospects.
that is,
Yeah. I mean,
um,
some teams have 8 or 9. I
and
mean,
I just hope the Rockies don't get sort of hot and save Bud Black's job. I just don't think Bud Black is the answer here anymore. I think
no.
it's time to make a change.
And it feels like that's kind of what's been kind of unsaid, but it feels like that's the direction they're moving in. I
Right.
mean, we've seen Bridich is gone. We've seen another assistant GM step down or mutually part ways last week.
Hmm.
I mean, it just feels like this team is just getting ready to completely dive into pushing off some of the hot talent they have, like Trevor Story, possibly a John Gray, maybe a couple of these other aging veterans that have some value to really just dive into that full scale rebuild. I mean, unfortunately, we're a small market here in Colorado. What is that rebuild really going to look like? Because it's not going to be bringing in a huge name free agent, like we see our counterparts like LA and San Diego do. So
Right.
it's really going to be building through, the prospects. Kind of that's what happened when we went for the World Series. We just stuck true to who we were and we built through depth and development.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I mean, we can't afford to get into another contract like we did with Nolan Arenado. That was just a mess. And so, a feel good story. The U.S. Open was this weekend, and John Rahm ended up winning. He finished at 6 under. And the reason it's sort of a feel good story is on June 5th, John Rahm was leading the Memorial Open. He was ahead by 6 strokes going into the final round, and they walked up to him on the 18th green and tell the guy that he tested positive for COVID. They couldn't even wait for the guy to come off, and tell him in private. And I think the PGA really dropped the ball on that one. You don't walk out there, and put that guy's emotions on display like that. You
I
could
mean,
have at least told him,
was that kind
after
of
he
a
came
breach of like
off.
protected health information too? I mean, that could have
Right.
been borderline lawsuit heavy, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, I think it was nice to see him come back just 2 weeks later, and win a major, his first
Yeah,
major.
I mean,
So
most importantly, we also got to think that he's healthy.
yeah, definitely, and that is the most important thing. So all right, NFL, Matt. All the teams are on break now. What's your predictions? Do we see any big stories between now and the beginning of training camp? Not just Broncos, but just anywhere that you could think of.
I mean, not really. I mean, there's some bigger name free agents that are still kind of out there. Some veterans that are, like a Geno Atkins. Maybe we see something like that happen. I mean, possibly the NFL finally decides to breach into the Deshaun Watson thing a little bit. Maybe conducts an investigation during this time. I mean, other than that, I mean, it's really going to be pretty dry. I mean, this could. I mean, possibly speaking of, to bring up another quarterback. I mean, if there's a perfect time to see an Aaron Rodgers trade happen, this may be the time. If Green Bay is finally going to be respectful of Rodgers' wishes of not wanting to be there, I don't see that happening. But this would be the perfect time for Rodgers' timetable.
And this is a parting shot for you, Matt. We are
Yeah.
we're
Like I told Victor the other day, it's time to unlock it, not lock and load it.
It's locked and
Unfortunately,
loaded,
when it's
man.
locked and loaded, we're selling it either too much to the left or right or over. So, I mean, we already hinted at the deep ball accuracy issues, and we could go on the Drew Lock conversation for
Well,
days.
yeah, unfortunately, we don't have time. We have 1 minute left.
We have
Really quick, he has
one
to
minute.
address the Josie Jewell.
Uh,
Do you think
Real
he
quick.
needs to go? I
I wouldn't
mean,
say he needs to go. He's got, I mean, we got a great youth right there in the inside linebacker position. We finally have a core. We got,
he's depth, I
Alexander
think.
Johnson, Josie Jewell, Baron Browning, Justin Sternard. So it's going to be a nice rotation. It's going to take some of those coverage things off him because outside of coverage, that's his main issue. He's
Yeah,
probably the best defensive, defensive linebacker we have for stopping the run. He's the
right.
best built for it. So, I mean, we're a locker room of undersized inside linebackers, but I mean, we need him there on first and second down or on third and short. So, I mean, I would hate to see him go right now.
Yeah, most definitely. I agree. I think he adds depth to that room. So I don't think he'll be a starter all year. So we'll see how Baron Browning, if he's ready to go, as Vic has stated he would be for training camp. So, all right. Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. Matt, thanks for filling in for Alex. I know you got a busy week ahead of you. So
Oh yeah, no, it's all good.
if anybody, like I said, if anybody wants to host or co-host on Friday, reach out to myself or Matt. We can get you hooked up so you can co-host with Alex on Friday because I will be out. So again, we appreciate it, Matt. I appreciate it. Everybody have a good rest of your day, and we will see you tomorrow at noon.
See you guys later.
See ya.